There seems to be a division occurring in this country where most people are saying, we aren't caring about a number of those social issues that affect 0.1% of society. We want to have a basic good society. Before I ask Sabrina Maddeaux about that, please subscribe and donate to keep this on the air. You're a conservative, and the Conservative Party has recently started an ad talking about jobs and trying to reduce taxes and normal things, as opposed to the Liberal ministers running around the countryside in jets saying, we've got to have the right pronouns, otherwise people are going to get killed. It seems just to me to be a no-brainer that is going to work.
Well, a lot of people are struggling economically right now. I mean, we're seeing a multitude of economic crises converge, whether that's wages, housing, unemployment. They're all coming to roost.
People are having a tough time.
They're having a tough time. And the thing is, a lot of these social issues were luxuries or distractions back when times were good. But now that times are bad, you look at the hierarchy of needs, people want to know how they're going to pay rent, how they're going to get or keep a job, how are they going to make their paycheck go further, or pay for groceries, how are they going to afford groceries. So any government or politician that's not talking about those basic needs right now is really missing the mark.
So are you suggesting for 1 second, Sabrina, that the debate over the next year and a half to when the Prime Minister's time runs out and there actually is an election should be about Canada and the economics and society, as opposed to pronouns of 10-year-olds or 12-year-olds in school as to whether they want to be called he or she, or whether they can change their sex and not tell their parents?
We need to deal with the core issues. How do you get housing? How do you get a job? How do you pay for rent or your mortgage? Until you have that solved, the other debates, those are just fluff on top.
Okay, now as a conservative, I'm not too confident of your answer on this, but I want to put it to you anyway. How do you think the Liberals got so far off track and so far removed from the average Canadian?
I think for one thing, they elected a leader who didn't care that much about economic issues. You have the famous "I don't think about monetary policy" quote, and who really cared about social issues and made that part of his brand. You see the same thing with Jagmeet and the NDP, right? The NDP should be, doing much, much better right now if they were focused on their core issues of labor, of the working class, of helping people meet their economic needs. But instead, they've gone entirely off track, and they're being punished for it in the polls, and they'll continue to be, I think, until they just Jagmeet and get a new leader who can actually speak to those core paycheck issues.
Well, I mean, maybe there's a whole group of people in Ottawa, aside from conservatives, who think those really are the issues. I have some friends who are writing saying that, forget about this economic stuff. We are building a new society, a post-national society in Canada.
They're out of touch. They don't live in the real world. I'm a renter. I know what it's like to have to pay rent. My partner just went through the job search process. I know what it's like to be looking for a job in this environment. Your average politician has no idea. How many renters do we have in Parliament?
No, probably more landlords.
A lot more landlords.
Renting it out.
Not just, landlords, investment properties, people who not only are out of touch with the day-to-day struggles of Canadians, but are actually benefiting from the day-to-day struggles of Canadians.
Good point, Sabrina. As always, a pleasure. Thank you.
Always.
3 minutes. To those of you who have subscribed and donated, a heartfelt thank you. You're keeping us on the air. If you're watching and you haven't, please try to do so, because 4 years ago, we started this show because there needed to be independent analysis. Now more than ever, with the Online Harms Act. Once that gets into law, it's been passed once by the House, there are going to be hundreds of bureaucrats censoring the news in Canada, censoring this show. We need to keep it on the air. Thanks for your support.